Hey, good evening, martial arts aficionados and Iron Fist lovers alike across the world. I'm back for another combat commentary. I really apologize for going so long without doing one. I've left you guys kind of out of the loop. Sometimes it's good to talk. You've seen enough action from me. Whatever. We know why we're here. So let's begin. In today's episode of Combat Commentary, we're here to talk about what is iron wrapped in silk? Well, in the world of Chinese martial arts, they call it that simply you can have a tough body, but your technique is so refined that you can do minimal things with a soft touch and achieve maximum results. It would be a good example of this would be like Yang Luchan, the OG patriarch of the Yang style of Tai Chi, beating opponents well into his 70s, right? Because his Tai Chi skills were on another level. Um, Now, it's like a Cleopatra, for example. She's not the best looking woman on the planet, but her mouthpiece could manipulate heads of empires, specifically Rome. Anyway, or it could be the fact that, a lack of it would be, for example, okay, you could be 6'5", be a millionaire, but you don't know how to interact with women because you're, game goofy or whatever. We see this a lot in the NBA. Anyway, I digress, but I'll give you. Essentially you take what you have and you take the raw material like iron, but you use it in such a way that it's the ultimate form of mastery, and it's unique mastery. And they say in Chinese martial arts, you learn the style, you master the style, you forget the style. Right? Now, Bruce Lee comes to mind when you think like, oh, okay, he learned Wing Chun, but he didn't learn it completely. But he learned some of the limits. But he when he went to America, he had to refine it and learn his own thing because he wasn't always fighting other Chinese people, and he was fighting white dudes, black dudes, Hispanics, whoever, right? Opponents like a foot taller than him, right? So he had to refine himself, and that's a thing, right? Not every situation is going to be the same. You're not going to always have the best piece of iron, right? Well, let's talk about different examples of iron wrapped in silk. Michael Jackson comes to mind. And I love music. I love his music. And why do I say that's probably a great example of pure balance of iron wrapped in silk? Okay, he's been under the microscope his whole life, from his pops to Motown to the global media, and hasn't always been good for him. He grew up in Jim Crow. He was one of like what, 9 siblings, or whatever, or 10. I don't know. I lost count of so many of them. But his pops discovered that him and his brothers and his sister had a talent for singing. Right, raw piece of iron. Took that iron, took it to Motown, learned to dance. He got refined, he got groomed, but he took his natural genius to the next level. Okay, he can sing and dance, so he gets surrounded by good pieces of metal like Thunder Thumbs Johnson, Louis Johnson, Stevie Wonder, Quincy Jones, um, what's his name, Smokey Robinson, whoever, Nile Rodgers, some of the best musicians in history. Now, even then, that's not enough. You've got to appeal to, you've got to make something that hits. And so enter Off the Wall, right? Best display of funk and R&B and disco that you might ever hear. I might say so. That's my opinion, but you can disagree. So, and even then, he took it to the next level with, even when he was, up in age and in poor health, even then, he could still moonwalk and glide and slide, and he could belt out Lady of My Life on the This Is It tour, right? That's, to me, that's amazing. You could do it when you're 20, you could do it when you're 50. You get no argument from me that that is GOAT status, because you got folks who are half his age who are resorting to autotune because they drink and smoke too much. But I digress. Next example. We'll go right into the world of fighting. Muhammad Ali. That man needs no introduction. We know who he is, the GOAT. Why is he the GOAT? Well, this man would predict what many thought was impossible, specifically when he fought Sonny Liston. He beat Sonny Liston not through brute force. He wasn't necessarily stronger than Sonny Liston at that time. Pretty much no one was. This man was just the best piece of iron you can get. Just a raw, perfect human specimen of a mountain of muscle, so much that the St. Louis mob thought it a good idea to have him as their enforcer, right? Okay, so Muhammad Ali didn't beat him through attrition. He beat him through intelligence. His mastery of lateral footwork, circular footwork, the jab, and psychological warfare. He was Sun Tzu's wet dream in the boxing ring. And he got in Sun Tzu's head, or not Sun Tzu, he got in Sonny Liston's head to the point where he made him extra aggressive, and he made him run into that phantom jab that everybody thought was a fake, but no, it wasn't. When, updated for digital cameras and whatnot, slowed down, he caught him clean, iron wrapped in silk, because he had the physicality and the speed, but he had the mental wherewithal to make it happen. Third and final example is an example that you probably wouldn't expect from me. But here we go. I love cooking, right? Obviously you can tell. I love to eat. Have a weight problem. Can't wait to eat. Anyway, I love this show called Hell's Kitchen. And if you guys don't know about Hell's Kitchen, it stars this very, very cantankerous British man by the name of Gordon Ramsay. And that's a whole act. He's actually a very nice guy, and but he uses that like a Texas football coach does to high school kids, right? And he does it. He yells at him, curses him out, "You effing donkey!" Right, with his very Cockney accent. It's hilarious to watch, and he motivates people, and he puts the contestants on Hell's Kitchen under the pressure cooker to produce prime delicacies fit for a king and queen, and gives them the worst possible conditions. And the pressure's on, and if you can't do it, he'll yell at you and kick you off the show or whatever. So he does that, and to those who can produce those delicacies, they say Gong Fu, taking a simple skill like cooking and taking it to the highest degree, right? It's sometimes you're not always going to get the best piece of iron, but what you do with that iron, you use that iron to the nth degree. True mastery. Larry Graham creating slap bass. Musashi Miyamoto running up on the head of the Yoshioka clan on Ganryu Island with nothing but a wooden boat oar, not even a piece of metal. No, not even a real sword, and he still won. That's iron wrapped in silk. You have the iron, you have the natural gifts, but you take what you have to the nth degree. Now, in my case, I do not count a true dub for like a sparring match if I only use my speed and my natural strength. I got these tree trunks for legs. I can kick through cinder blocks, right? I can leg press over 400 pounds. Okay, cool. If I went through attrition, fine. But if I went through skill and intelligence, if I get somebody to overshoot themselves, I read their patterns and I use small catch and hit or single whip to defeat them, and without breaking a sweat, that's iron wrapped in silk. I have the skills, I have the conditioning, and this is what I hope a lot more Kung Fu players in the modern world do. Wing Chun, Taiji, Hung Gar, and really Hung Gar. I really want to get on y'all, because y'all indomitable warrior spirit. I love that martial art, and I want to see more of y'all have iron wrapped in silk. But I digress. So that truly what iron wrapped in silk is alchemy. You take a bad situation and you produce gold with it. Right? On a group setting, that's Black America. You produce some of the most beautiful music in human history coming out of slavery, right? Ragtime, jazz, blues, R&B, rock and roll, funk, hip hop. It is what it is. So with that said, take that lesson, master yourself, and keep learning. Be water, my friends. And with that, I hope you like what you saw. Like, share, subscribe. Turtle Sage out.